Dr. Vegapunk is the leading scientist of the SSG and is in the employment of the Marines. His work includes discovering the secrets and uses of seastone, the secrets of how devil fruit powers work, the co-discovery of the lineage factor and its applications, the creation of the pacifista and seraphim, and various other scientific achievements that are said to be at least 500 years ahead of current technology. He hails from the technologically advanced Karakuri Island and currently resides on Egghead, where his laboratory is located. He ate the Nomi, which allows his brain to store an infinite amount of information. Before being employed under the world government, Vegapunk had been the director of an outlaw scientific research team known as MADS, where he worked alongside other notable scientists such as Caesar Clown, Vinsmoke Judge, Queen, and Buckingham Stussy. The team was eventually arrested, and Vegapunk was later integrated into the Marines as its head scientist after MAD's dissolution. However, once the world government learned he was researching the Void Century, they dispatched CP0 and conspired with York to eliminate him. At some point in the past, due to being occupied with his inventions, Vegapunk managed to split his being into 6 different people, referred to as satellites or offshoots, which share Vegapunk's brain via punk records. These satellites all identify as Dr. Vegapunk and will introduce themselves as such, but also possess their own names and number designations to distinguish them. The satellites are also distinguished by embodying a particular aspect of Vegapunk's personality. His true body is called the Stella. The method Vegapunk used in order to split his being into 6 different entities is still unknown. In his youth, Vegapunk was a generous person who cared very much for the inhabitants of his island, willing to help them with his inventions. He is considered the island's pride and joy, and the residents are still hoping for his return. Each of Vegapunk's 6 satellites possesses a dominant personality trait that is presumably present in Vegapunk in general. While he has strong morals and a sense of justice and pride as a scientist, Shaka, he also possesses malevolent traits and an inclination to steal from others in order to fund his research, Lilith, and can be prone to greed, York. There is considerable conflict and reasoning between these two sides. He appears to be quite thoughtful and wise, Edison and Pythagoras, but can be prone to getting angry at other people's inability to properly replicate and utilize his technological developments, to the point of lashing out violently, Atlas. He seems to have an interest for dragons, as he created 2 of them on Punk Hazard, and an artificial devil fruit that allows the user to transform into one. However, he deemed the fruit a failure, but that was only due to the user's dragon form not being the same color as the dragon form bestowed by the real devil fruit it was based on. On that note, Vegapunk is a serious perfectionist. He was seen bawling on the ground after Luffy had informed him of how an artificial devil fruit, which he had made from Kado's lineage factor, had led its consumer to gaining the same mythical Zoan abilities, albeit with a different color scheme. Vegapunk appears to be honorable, as he granted Kuma his final wish as a human being, which was to program Kuma to protect the Thousand Sunny until the Straw Hat Pirates return. Vegapunk takes his survival seriously and will not hesitate to ask for help when necessary. He requested Luffy to get him off Egghead and away from the world government when they moved to assassinate him, despite just meeting the young emperor. He does not mind dragging others' allies into helping him without considering their circumstances first. While it is unclear when Vegapunk started using his satellites to split his workload, he himself is famed as the greatest scientific genius the world has ever known, having tremendous knowledge and unmatched understanding in all fields of science, from cell biology to military technology, at the beginning of his work on Karakuri Island as noted by Frankie. He has read and fully memorized every single book that had been rescued from O'Hara. Vegapunk has in deep knowledge and understand of devil fruits, having studied many old texts about them. He is the only known person beside the 5 elders to realize the true nature of Luffy's devil fruit after witnessing his awakened form. He discovered exactly how devil fruit powers are transferred over to a user, and he was also the scientist behind the method of adding devil fruit powers into inanimate objects, such as swords and guns. By using this method, he was able to create a unique blood for his latest creation, the Seraphim, by extracting the lineage factor of a paramecia user, synthesizing it, creating the so-called green blood. He even went as far as having developed a theory about how devil fruits came into existence from his knowledge, theorizing that devil fruits are the embodiment of what humans desire and could become, which is also the reason why the sea, which he calls the mother of nature, rejects any devil fruit user and makes them unable to swim, as such behavior is loathed by the sea and it considers these wishes to transcend the world people wish to live in as abnormalities. Vegapunk is an extraordinary surgeon. He is the one who modified Bartholomew Kuma into a cyborg, and he has produced many pacifista replicas of him as well, granting them some of the abilities of Kazara's devil fruit in the process. These replicas bleed actual blood, like Kuma himself. However, they lack Kuma's own devil fruit abilities. Vegapunk ate the Nomi Nomi Nomi, a paramecia-type devil fruit that allows his brain to store an indefinite amount of information and recall everything he has ever learned. It also causes his brain and head to expand continuously as he acquires new knowledge. Due to splitting himself up into 6 people, Vegapunk is now able to be many times more productive as his satellites are capable of working independently at the same time. The fact that each of his satellites can also be equipped with weapons, vehicles, and technology also makes Vegapunk drastically more difficult to handle in combat. The satellites are capable of communicating with each other via an earpiece and may also share senses, as Shaka was able to see what was around Lilith while the two of them were in different locations. Necessary bodily functions can be assigned to one satellite, allowing the others to forego them. Shaka Punk 01. Shaka, also designated as Punk 01, is one of the 6 satellites of Dr. Vegapunk, embodying his aspect of good. Being designated the good satellite of Vegapunk, Shaka is extremely reasonable, collected and thoughtful. During Lilith's confrontation with the Straw Hat Pirates, Shaka was shown to be extremely observant of the crew's mannerisms and abilities, and quickly conveyed to Lilith that she had blundered. Shaka does not approve of Lilith looting and pillaging from others, saying such actions are detrimental to a scientist's pride. Although not as antagonistic as Lilith, Shaka is very cautious and careful when facing potential dangers. Even when asking the Straw Hat Pirates for assistance in helping Vegapunk escape, he still immobilized them with DOM shoes until he grew confident enough to trust them. He is loyal to Stella, the original Vegapunk, believing that it is their duties as his satellites to ensure his safety, even if at the cost of their lives. Being a satellite of Vegapunk, Shaka has likely been a contributor to the genius scientist's numerous technological developments. Shaka appears to be able to share senses with other satellites, allowing them to know what was going on with Lilith while she was out at sea. Shaka's analytical skills are a boon in combat situations, as they were able to prevent Lilith from foolishly attacking the Straw Hats by quickly pointing out the crew's capabilities and strategic mindset. Lilith Punk 02. Lilith, also designated as Punk 02, is one of 6 satellites of Dr. Vegapunk, embodying his aspect of evil. Being designated the evil satellite of Vegapunk, Lilith is the manifestation of Vegapunk's ruthless and malevolent traits, thus coming off as a very deceptive and untrustworthy individual. She utilizes her technology and weaponry to steal from voyagers, chiefly pirates, who trespass on Egghead, justifying this to Shaka as necessary for the sake of keeping Vegapunk's research operational. She also thought nothing of handing the Straw Hat Pirates to CP0, being fully aware that Rob Lucci was an assassin. Lilith possesses a rash attitude and often acts impulsively, annoyed and derisively. For this reason, she is one of the most outgoingly combative and daring of the satellites, being eager to confront any perceived enemies directly and violently, although she has moments of clarity and will pull back in situations she cannot win. Lilith also hates being ordered around, especially by Shaka, her good counterpart whose exemplary behavior tends to constantly get under her skin. Despite being evil, Lilith actually has a compassionate side. She cares about her fellow satellites, as she wanted to fight CP0 to avenge Atlas. She also was deeply worried when Edison almost got killed by S-Shark's laser and relieved when Sanji saved him in time. Being one of 6 manifestations of the genius scientist Vegapunk, Lilith has contributed to his numerous technological advances and breakthroughs. Despite the technology and weaponry at her disposal, Lilith was cautioned by Shaka that she was not equipped to take on Roronoa Zoro and Nico Robin, 2 members of an Emperor's crew with bounties around Belly 1 billion, in combat. Lilith has made heavy use of mechas and cybernetically enhanced animals to aid her in combat. She pilots a giant mecha called the Vega Force 1, which is extremely large to the point of being able to carry the Thousand Sunny in its hands. The Vega Force is able to move underwater and unleash explosions when it punches. Additionally, Lilith has power over sea beasts that she has turned into cyborgs. These sea beasts are equipped with numerous weapons, with an example being the mecha shark having a torpedo launcher in its mouth. This army of cyborg creatures allows Lilith to easily surround and overwhelm ships sailing the sea, enabling her to loot them. However, she has had issues with achieving programming to completely override the organic urges of the creatures, which limits her ability to have them do exactly what she wants. Shaka himself would also note that any equipment, weaponry and modified sea beasts at Lilith's disposal would be useless against a swordsman of Zoro's caliber. Lilith wields a large futuristic-looking gun, called a bubble gun because it shoots bubbles that are capable of deflecting any attacks. The bubbles are made of sea energy, meaning they also serve as a weakness for devil fruit users. Edison 03. Edison, also designated as Punk 03, is one of the 6 satellites of Dr. Vegapunk, embodying his aspect of thinking. He is a companion and ally to the Straw Hat Pirates. Being designated the thinking satellite of Vegapunk, Edison is extremely energetic and constantly busy plotting new invention ideas and running experiments. This behavior even continues should dangerous situations arise or danger be imminent, as Edison was coming up with ideas when CP0 arrived at the Laba phase to start their assassination on all Vegapunks. It frequently interjects with Eureka whenever having an idea. Edison was shown to be taken aback toward Lilith's violent tendencies and threats. Edison also seems to care for Vegapunk's allies, as Edison was worried that Stussy would become a target of the world government should her true allegiance towards Vegapunk become known to the world government, and initially was unsure to contact her when CP0 came close to eliminate all Vegapunks. Being a satellite of Vegapunk, Edison has been a contributor to the genius scientist's numerous technological developments, appearing to be primarily responsible for conceiving and mapping out details for new inventions. Edison wears a jetpack on its back, allowing it to fly and hover in the air. Pythagoras Punk 04. Pythagoras, also designated as Punk 04, is one of the 6 satellites of Dr. Vegapunk, embodying his aspect of wisdom. Being Vegapunk's wisdom satellite, Pythagoras has shown to be calm and highly interested in observing the performances of Vegapunk's inventions. It is devoted to recording data from these tests and examining the potential scientific implications, and can grow very excited when situations arise that provide exceptional data. It also tends to resort to peaceful solutions, as it was trying to reason with the CP0 agents that were sent to kill Vegapunk and his satellites, trying to create excuses for them not to land on Egghead. It even advised Lilith not to make things worse when she got angry at their repeated requests for permission to dock, knowing impulsive reactions could lead to them just coming to the island anyway. Being a satellite of Vegapunk, Pythagoras has been a contributor to the genius scientist's numerous technological developments. Pythagoras is extremely intelligent, being capable of drawing a large number of theories and conclusions just by witnessing Vegapunk's inventions in action. When observing one of the Seraphim in combat, Pythagoras quickly made observations regarding potential lineage factor traits. It also seems to be part of Pythagoras' duties to compile and analyze data. Atlas Punk 05. Atlas, also designated as Punk 05, is one of the 6 satellites of Dr. Vegapunk, embodying his aspect of violence. Being designated the violence satellite of Vegapunk, Atlas has a short temper and is prone to violence upon getting angry, which has been shown to occur if someone attacks her or if people show an inability to utilize her inventions successfully. She is very talkative and will gladly give detailed explanations on the inner workings of her inventions. She is quite interested in the question of the definition of reality, and though she has a firm view on the matter, she thinks other people need to decide the answer for themselves. She is also shown to be rather reckless, as she recklessly fought against CP0 despite Shaka warning her that she cannot win against CP0. Being a satellite of Vegapunk, Atlas has been a contributor to the genius scientist's numerous technological developments. Atlas seems to carry out a human's basic need of violence, and also possibly physical workouts on behalf of the other Vegapunks, which she fulfills by attacking holograms. Befitting her large size, Atlas possesses significant strength, as she was able to punch Luffy and send him slamming into a wall with great force, leaving him with bruises. She also possesses great durability, being barely affected by a normal punch from Luffy. Her body made a metallic clanging sound when Luffy struck it, meaning she may wear armor or have cyborg modifications. According to her, she is capable of changing her mask at will and replace whatever part of her gets damaged. However, how she is possible to do that or if it is something she created has yet to be explored upon. As one of Vegapunk's satellites, Atlas has access to numerous futuristic equipment and weapons that she and the other satellites have developed. Her gloves, which are called light pressure gloves, allow her to interact with light as though it is tangible. This will cause the holograms on Egghead to react to her actions as though they were real, such as when she punched a dragon hologram and it recoiled. The jetpack on her back enables her to fly through the air. York Punk 06. York, also designated as Punk 06, is one of the 6 satellites of Dr. Vegapunk, embodying his aspect of greed. She acted as an ally to the Straw Hat Pirates at first, but was later revealed to be a traitor responsible for instigating the Egghead incident and many of the events prior during the Egghead arc. Being designated the greed satellite of Vegapunk, York is a very gluttonous and lazy individual. Her primary task seems to be to eat, sleep, and relieve herself for the other satellites so they can perform their own duties unimpeded. She seems to have a vapid personality with her head in the clouds, rarely speaking except for yawning or remarking about sleeping or eating, but wantonly approached a dangerous seraphim because she found it cute. However, this was later shown to be a facade. In truth, York is a highly selfish schemer who possesses lofty ambitions, willing to betray her fellow Vegapunks solely for the chance to become a world noble. She believes that only one Vegapunk is necessary in the world and is not against eliminating her peers if needed, betraying the satellite's purpose of ensuring Stella's safety even at the cost of their lives. York also shows no signs of mercy or remorse should casualties arise due to her actions, as she was willing to accept all of them should it serve her ultimate goal. When defeated, York is shown to be quite cowardly and spiteful. Being a satellite of Vegapunk, York has likely been a contributor to the genius scientist's numerous technological developments. In spite of her rather passive role as a scientist, York is very cunning, deceptive, manipulative, and skilled at keeping a low profile, having orchestrated most of the incidents that have happened during the Egghead arc without ever arousing suspicion of herself or being detected by either Vegapunk or the other satellites. This includes prior, arc-leading events such as contacting the 5 elders about Vegapunk's history research or kidnapping several Cypher Pole agents multiple times, occurrences even Vegapunk admitted he was completely unaware of. York is capable of replicating the Mother Flame, which makes her valuable to the world government. York is also a skilled gunwoman, having shot Shaka in the head with a simple, ordinary pistol and from a considerable range.